Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Martin, the Associate Director of Forecasting at Dodge Construction Network, and today we'll be looking at April's Momentum Index. Now, as a reminder, the DMI tracks the value of non-residential building projects going into planning. All of those projects are under $500 million. They exclude manufacturing and transportation projects, and typically this index leads construction spending by about 1 year. So the DMI grew 0.9% in April to a reading of 205.1 from the downwardly revised March reading of 203.1. Over the month, commercial planning grew 3.3%, while institutional planning fell 4.2%. Now, when you look at the breakout here between commercial and institutional planning, it's pretty clear that a wave of data center projects entering planning was the main reason why we saw growth in April. Without data centers, commercial planning would actually have receded 2.3%, and the entire DMI would have receded 3% in April. Offices and hotel planning saw a sharp retreat this month, while warehouse and retail planning modestly gained some momentum. On the institutional side, we saw weaker planning activity for education, healthcare, and government buildings, which was slightly offset by an uptick in recreational projects. In April, the DMI was up 22% when compared to year-ago levels. The commercial segment was up 20% from April of 2024, and the institutional segment was up 26%. But that was after a pretty weak April last year. So you can see that big dip last year versus where we are now. Now, again, if we remove all data center projects between 2023 and 2025, that's that red line here. Commercial planning would actually be down about 1% from year-ago levels, and the entire DMI would be up about 7%, which is just a much more moderated rate of growth in comparison to that 22% year-over-year growth when we do include data centers. So despite this uptick in April, really a lot of that growth can be attributed to data centers entering planning. One of the largest months we've seen going back several years for data center projects entering planning. But outside of that, we saw momentum slow in planning for most other non-residential categories. This could be the fact that owners and developers are navigating heightened economic and policy uncertainty right now, and that's weighing on their decisions on whether or not to put a project into planning. And so we'll have to continue monitoring that going forward to get a better sense of how that will feed into construction activity a year from now, as we move into, mid-2026. That about wraps it up for this month. Thank you so much for watching.